Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Public Cloud Design Tips and Tricks. In this channel, we are going to discuss about public cloud design problem statement and their related solutions. We will also discuss about the services which have been involved to solve the problem statement. So today we are going to talk about Amazon Web Services VPC endpoint and private link. So in this channel, we will be covering two public cloud vendors. One is Amazon Web Services, second Microsoft Azure. We are going to reiterate the same problem statement as like our previous video. So our problem statement is how to connect securely to cloud services from cloud private network. So when we say cloud private networks, for Amazon Web Services it is VPC, and for Microsoft Azure it is Virtual Network VNet. So we'll understand from VPC how securely we can connect to the cloud public services. So if you could remember, in my previous video I have explained how Microsoft Azure has solved this. So Azure has two solutions. One was Azure Virtual Network Service Endpoint and another was Azure Private Link. In this video we are going to discuss about how Amazon has solved this with Private Link and VPC endpoint. So as per the curriculum, we will be discussing about what is AWS Private Link, AWS VPC Endpoint, VPC Endpoint concepts, AWS Interface Endpoint, Gateway Endpoint, and list of AWS services which supports Private Link, key benefits about AWS Private Link, limitations, and pricing. So let's try to understand what is AWS Private Link. AWS Private Link provides private connectivity between VPCs, AWS services, and your on-premise networks without exposing your traffic to the public internet. Focus this point. With Private Link, the traffic will always remain within your network. It will never go to the public internet. Then we'll try to understand what is AWS VPC endpoint. A VPC endpoint enables private connections between your VPC and supported AWS services and VPC endpoint services powered by AWS Private Link. So Private Link and AWS VPC endpoint are linked to each other. So Private Link is a feature which is related to the PAAS services or your own services, and VPC endpoint enables the Private Link to connect to the particular services from your virtual private cloud securely. So that is the definition of AWS VPC endpoint. So there are multiple types of VPC endpoint Amazon provides. One is gateway endpoint, second is interface endpoint, third is gateway load balancer endpoint, and also another type of service endpoint available known as endpoint service. So what is VPC endpoint service? Let's try from bottom to top. So endpoint service, you can create your own application in your VPC and configure it as an AWS Private Link powered services. That means, just think about the scenario. You have a virtual machine backed by a load balancer and you want to expose it from your VPC to another VPC. Then you can power that particular service with a private link and you can expose securely with the endpoint service to the another VPC so that the connectivity will be secure. Then we'll try to understand what is a gateway load balancer endpoint, the third one. So a gateway load balancer endpoint enables you to intercept traffic and route it to a service that you have configured using gateway load balancer. For example, for security inspection, the owner of the service is a service provider and you as the principal creating the gateway load balancer endpoint and the service consumer. So this is how the gateway load balancer endpoint helps. Now let's try to understand what is a AWS gateway endpoint. So a gateway endpoint is a target for a route in a route table to connect VPC resources to S3 and DynamoDB. So gateway endpoint, AWS gateway endpoint only supports two types of services. One is S3, second is DynamoDB. Then let's try to understand what is AWS Interface Endpoint. So an interface VPC endpoint allows you to connect to the services powered by AWS Private Link. So Private Link and AWS Interface Endpoint are linked to each other. So these services include some AWS services hosted by by other AWS customer and partners in their own VPCs. With this interface endpoint works, and it doesn't need an internet gateway, so that the traffic will always remain in the AWS backbone network. It will never goes to the internet. So that is the power of AWS Interface Endpoint. Now let's try to understand the list of AWS services that supports private link resource. There are around 65 plus AWS resources currently supports AWS private link resource. So I have provided few of the list, and also if you want to get more details, you can follow the link which has been provided in my video description. You will find the latest update. Now let's try to understand what are all key benefits of AWS private link. So first key benefit is secure your private traffic. That means the one that we have discussed. You have multiple VPCs, or you have your own VPC where you want to connect to the PAAS services, AWS PAAS services securely. So with private link, the connectivity, the traffic will always remain in the private network. It will never goes to the internet world. So that is the power of AWS private link. Then simplify network management. You can connect services across different accounts and Amazon VPCs with no need for firewall rules, path definition, or route table. So with AWS private link, the complexity will be definitely minimized. Then accelerate your cloud migration. With cloud migration strategy from on-premise application to SaaS offering hosted in the cloud with AWS private link, the transformation will be much more faster because the connectivity will be private and the data transfer will be much more easier. So this is how you can accelerate your cloud migration with private link. So these are all positive part. Now let's focus on the limitations. So with private link, when we are talking about the limitations, you cannot have more than 255 gateway endpoints per VPC. So inside your VPC, you can have maximum 255 gateway endpoint. And the second, for interface and gateway load balancer endpoint per VPC, you can have maximum 50. This is the combined quota for the maximum number of interface endpoint and gateway load balancer endpoint in the VPC. And the VPC endpoint policy size maximum 20,480 characters. It cannot be more than that. Now let's discuss about the price part. So the gateway type VPC endpoint price, there is no data processing or hourly charges for using gateway type VPC endpoint. This is one of the powerful and best feature which Amazon provides. Then the interface endpoint, for processing VPC endpoint per hour, you have to pay $0.01 per hour. And also for processing 1 GB of data, you have to pay $0.01. Then gateway load balancer endpoint pricing, then again per hour you have to pay $0.01, and for 1 GB of data processing you have to pay $0.0035. This also varies from region to region. The data that I am showing here is for the US region. And these are all reference links that I have followed to combine this information. If you like the video, then please subscribe to our channel, like the video and share your comment so that we can give you more and more information about these services and future design. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Have a nice day. Thank you.